All right, I need to bust some myths here. I don't even think it's myths. I don't even think that's true. It's just misunderstandings, and it's time to get clear. I'm talking about marketing, and with so much misinformation or misunderstanding on what marketing is at its core, thanks to the social media world we live in. And I see this so many times. And thanks to how people start their businesses these days, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, I want to break it down in a way that makes sense. The misunderstanding is that social media is your marketing. It's one form of marketing, it's one place that you can market your business, but that's not all that marketing is. Or another thing I've seen lately that just rightly pisses me off. And it's totally okay to disagree with me here. I actually love disagreement. So if you feel that way, on any part of this podcast episode, please come chat with me in my Instagram DMs. Like, I love this stuff. I love learning. I love hearing other perspectives. The one that frustrates me a little bit is saying that you don't need marketing. I started my VA business and you can start yours and you don't need marketing. BS. I call BS because that tells me that you don't understand what marketing is, which again is okay. But saying that people don't need to market their business is nonsense. So when I start these conversations, it's like, well, I don't need social media. I didn't when I started my business. I had my first 5 clients. Okay. How did you get those? Through referrals. That's marketing. Referrals are a form of marketing. That's what I mean by the baseline understanding being needed. Now, when I work with clients lately, it's like, which social media platform do I need to be on? Which is a great question. Are you even on the right one? Where are your people? So let's peel it all back. And I'm going to take it to the OG, the basics. It's no one's fault that there's a lot of confusion or miscommunication. It's because if you hop online, take Instagram, for example, where I am, where all we do all day is give business advice, like through and through, people are giving you their frameworks. They're giving you their hot takes. The gurus are coming in masses. And we learn a lot from them, but it is pretty straightforward, step by step, one or two things here. And that shapes how you think what you need to do. And that might not be right for everyone. This is why I'm a big advocate in what I do in my own business of coaching to you, to your business, to what you need, to where you need to go, because that's strategy. So I'm going to take it back to the basics because the basics have not changed. It's just the way that people communicate them or understand them themselves has changed, or they recreate frameworks and put their ideas on it, their own name, and they're not just telling you that this has been around for 100+ years. Like, marketing is not new. Social media, one place that we market, is new. So I've said place a couple times. When I talk about breaking it back to the basics, I'm talking about textbook stuff. I'm about to break it down to you, but it's going to help you understand really what you need to know to market your business. The 4 P's of marketing. Okay. This is not new. People still use them to this day. If you hop on Instagram and you find someone that teaches marketing, 200+ thousand followers, you're going to see these themes and what they're talking about, but they're probably not going to call it that. The first one is product. Now, for us, many people listening to this, that's actually your service. So same thing here, but because it was a 4P, we can't change it to service or it wouldn't be 4Ps. Okay. This is what you actually sell. What is the service? What is the product? What is that transformation? What are you selling? I'm selling coaching services. That's going to be in different offers. Yes. So one-on-one, group program, etc. The next one is price. So yes, pricing your offers, figuring out what the price is a part of your marketing. I don't know if you knew that. So pricing it right. Why is this a part of marketing? Because you have your product or service and now you need to price it. You need to do competitor analysis. What are people like you charging? You need to look at all of the costs associated with developing that. You need to make sure that you're pricing according to what you can demand in the market and what your costs are and things like that. Place. This is why I said place multiple times. Instagram, social media, it's one place that you market your business. If you have a magazine, the placement is at the shelf at the grocery store line checkout. That place is intentional where you place it. So not only in the grocery store, but where you place it for that advertisement, for that promotion. Promotion is the 4th P. So this is exactly what it sounds like. This is where your strategy starts to come in, where not only like the place, but what sort of promotions are you including in this to put it out there and get the sales, right? So running ads and things like that. Are you giving promotional offers, new client discounts, things like that to get eyes on you? And marketing, take away the 4 Ps. We'll come back to those. It's essentially getting eyes and attention on your product and service. So people start to understand what you do. First, you get the eyes, they start to understand, and that builds trust to get them to a conversation or decision point on sales. That's when the sale starts, though. So marketing's job is literally to get visible, communicating what you do, who you do it for, to draw in eyes so people understand it and build trust. That trust should then lead to some sort of conversation in your DMs. That conversation can be a sales call, whatever. Then your sell starts. Then you start getting really good at communicating the value, discovering their needs. So that's not what we're talking about today. Today is just the baseline marketing. So what you're selling, what is your service, what is your product, pricing it accordingly to what the demand says, what the market will pay, what others are charging, being what you bring to the table, the transformation that your service offers, pricing it right matters. Place, where are you going to market? This isn't just social media. This is email newsletters. This is podcasts if you talk about it here. This is on stages if you do it there. This is on websites. So yes, your website is a marketing tool. The place that you talk about your service where people can find it and learn, and then your promotions, how you tell people about it. So your messaging weaves in here, how you position yourself weaves in here so people are ultra clear on what you're saying. That's where your promotion comes into play. Let's talk about where you should be. It's going to be very personalized, but at the baseline, think through all of these. Think through everything you do right now through the lens of the 4Ps and just break it down and make it really easy. Start with that. What are you selling? Are you clear on that? Where are your people? Where are they? A lot of people love to talk about this in social media. And yeah, I think nearly every business needs some sort of social media. It's free, in case you didn't know. And you can put yourself out there, but can you manage 4 or 5 platforms? If you need to start with one, and typically people do, where are your people most likely? Know the audiences on Instagram, know the audiences on LinkedIn, know the audiences on TikTok. They're all slightly different. TikTok's a lot more raw in the moment, straight up personal brand stuff, right? Very fun, very you, very personality. Instagram is a mixture of that and expertise and business advice, and how you share it is different and the content that hits there is different. LinkedIn is a completely different audience. So think through where your people are so you can get eyes on what you do, right? Also, when it comes to newsletters, do you need a newsletter? Where are you going to advertise that? Are people going to sign up? What are you going to share in that newsletter? How are you drawing them to you? Websites, blogs. These are all ways that you can promote what you sell. You need to price it. You need to know what it is. You need to show up in the places where they are and then promote it. So if newsletter is one of the places I'm showing up, it's only going to work if I then promote what I sell in that newsletter. You see? Making sense? It's not just storytelling. It's how you make the right people find you, calling in the right people. This is where your messaging matters. So yes, you're going to show up on social media and you have a newsletter and you have a website and you're going to promote it there and you're clear on what it is and you've priced it. Okay, well, your messaging, your promotion of that, how you strategically show up in these different areas, how they intertwine, how you use your podcast as visibility to pull people into other areas, to pull them to your Instagram, to drop things in the show notes, to tie it back into what you sell and what you do. These are all strategic components of your promotion. People start to understand you, they start to understand what you do. So knowing what you sell, who you sell it for, starts to be your position. What is your position in the market? How are you positioning yourself? Does it align with what you sell? Because if there's misalignment, then you're pulling in people drawn to that position, but it's not aligned with what you actually sell and the transformation you offer. I hope this helps. It's meant to be quick, fast, and in a hurry, a short episode. I just know that I see people get lost along the way because you can scroll on Instagram for 5 minutes and see here's the hooks that you need. Here's all these things that you need. And at the end of the day, those are helpful, but it doesn't matter if you aren't clear on these other components and if you're not showing up on the right social media platform to start with. You can put a hook. You can copy what someone said and put your hook on there and get your body and talk to the camera and add a call to action. But if you're not clear on who it's for, what you're selling, what you should be pricing it, that you're even on the right social media platform, and how you actually talk about your products and tie that hook and that body and that call to action back to promoting it, pushing them to your DM so you can talk about it, then you're not marketing as well as you could be. And hopefully this helps you start to understand when someone calls herself a marketing strategist, what that should mean on the other side. If someone's a marketing strategist, I expect them to understand that and look at my marketing as a whole and make sure all of this is happening, that I'm showing up in the right place, that I'm talking about things the right way. If they're a social media strategist, that's different. It's not your full marketing picture, but it's your social media strategy. Are you showing up in the right place? Are you saying the right things? Are you calling the right people in? Are you talking to the right people? How are you generating those leads? That's where people need to understand where these intertwine. And if you're hiring someone, please pay attention to that. Now, I mentioned earlier, I do have to tie it back to this. I know I said it was going to be quick, but referrals are marketing. Word of mouth is marketing. This all weaves in, and this is how I combine strategy in all functions of your business. So not just marketing, sales, client experience, operations, all of it matters, because your client experience being stellar, being the best that someone can experience, means that they're happy and you retain them, and they refer other people. Those referrals are word of mouth marketing, which is free because you gave such a stellar client experience, because it started with your service, how you promote it, your pricing. People started to trust you, then they bought from you, then you delivered what you said you would, and you did it exceptionally, and now they refer other people to you. So that's marketing. Please do not get it twisted if someone says you don't need to market your business. I would rather just teach you how to deliver such a stellar experience. You don't have to ask for it. When you do get that word of mouth marketing, I'm a big fan because that's free marketing. So social media in a way, yes, like I said, but unless you understand marketing and do that well, you might have to pay someone. You might have to pay a coach. You might have to pay a social media strategist to learn these things. You don't have to pay someone to get referrals. You just have to deliver a stellar client experience, right? It's literally free marketing, and it costs you no time. You're already doing what you did. So it's free in that aspect too, because even if your social media is free, you have to show up. That's time. Your time is not free. I would assume you want to be paid for your time. So word of mouth is free marketing. I just want to tie this all together and make it clear that if you have a business, you're going to need to market it in some way, shape, or form. Having a storefront is a form of marketing because you probably put a sign out there so people know about it, right? Same thing with your social media. When people land on your page, knowing who you are, what you do, how they can work with your contact you should be front center. It should be one of the first things people see, because that's your digital storefront, right? So people know what you do and how you do it. Hopefully this helps. Make sure whatever you're doing, you're filtering it through this lens: what you do, who you do it for, pricing, the place that those people are, how clear you're conveying what you do and who you do it for, and having these conversations. Marketing at its core is to draw attention to you. This is why it's called lead generation frequently. If you see lead generation a lot online right now, that is marketing. You're trying to put your stuff out into the ether, draw the eyes to it that come back to you, and that generates leads. And then you go into client acquisition, which is trying to turn those leads into clients, which is sales. Dun dun dun, the end. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Rooted and Relentless. If it made you laugh, nod along, or grab that cute little notebook of yours and scribble something down, please hit me with the SSR, subscribe, share, and review, as in leave a review. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram at virtually_Steph Rubio and tell me what you're reading this week. Seriously, I live for a good book moment. Thanks for hanging. Bye.